If you're a trim carpenter, cabinet maker, remodeler, or installer, you need to fit your work to real-world conditions, which we all know are rarely level or plumb. The new How Far Out level gauge from Fastcap lets you dial your level into perfect position to know exactly how far out things are instantly.
Hi, I'm Mike Schuler, and I'm a professional finish carpenter back right now at a 150-year-old home I trimmed out last year. We're making a follow-up millwork installation, and having not been here for a while, things look pretty true and straight at this point. But as you can imagine, in an older structure like this were hardly the conditions we found when we got here. This is one of my trusty Stabila 196 levels. You know, even if you use the very best level in the world, it's still only designed to tell you just one thing. Is your work level or not? But in this kind of work, nothing's level and nothing's plumb. And there's another question that you need to answer constantly. Okay, how far out is it exactly? I've invented a product, because I do this kind of work all the time, that gives me that answer instantly. I call it my How Far Out level gauge. And now Fastcap's bringing it to market so you could use it too. First, let's take a closer look.
The How Far Out gauge is a precision two-piece unit which includes a CNC machined and laser-etched solid aluminum gauge body and a magnetic quick coupler. The female half of the quick coupler, which we call the level end adapter, installs permanently on the end of your level in less than a minute. The male half of the coupler is on the back of the gauge body. Once the level end adapter is installed, you can snap the How Far Out gauge onto your level instantly when you need it, and snap it off just as quickly to put it away or to use it with a different level. Using the How Far Out gauge really couldn't be simpler. One of the most common applications, where it's really at its best, is hanging new doors to existing openings. Obviously, you really need an accurate picture of the finished opening to know what to do. Here, let me show you. First thing I would do, I'd pop in my gauge to one of my prepared shorter levels. Next, let's check the head for level. So we just set it up there in the opening, press it up, and I can see that this side is high. Now, I just start dialing it in, watching the bubble the whole time. When the bubble gets to be exactly level, I stop. And now I can read the scale and know exactly how far out of level that head is. I would repeat this procedure to find out what's going on at the sill. Now to check the side jamb, all I need to do is pop the How Far Out gauge into one of my prepared jamb levels, press it up, and now while I read the bubble, just start dialing in the gauge, and when I see that the bubble is dead on plumb, I'm going to just read that gauge, and I have no question in my mind whatsoever. In this case, I'm 3/16 strong leaning out. When I translate plumb and level survey that I got from using the How Far Out gauge to square on the door, I can fit this thing exactly without having to hoist it up and have some kind of awkward scribing situation. If you run trim, remodel, or make any kind of millwork or glazing installations in the real world, I'm sure you can think of countless times this little gauge would come in handy in your work.